it is.
Well, there it is. Today we have a game between I am Withus, WFZ, and R starts Fow. Now, both of these players are probably well known. Unfortunately, I cannot remember what their actual names are. I'll be surprised if WFZ is his actual nickname. He probably goes by the name of Gusu or something. I don't know. But if you know, then feel free to post that in the comment and I'll appreciate it. So that way in the future, if I ever come across a game played by WFZ with us, then I can call him by his proper name. Unfortunately, I can't get the information. I do type this stuff out and I try to Google it and search it, research it, but unfortunately I can't find the information there. So unless you're in the know, you don't know. So anyway, Withus is playing as the blue undead at the top, and at the bottom we have R starts Fow as the purple undead. So this is an undead mirror by the looks of it on Turtle Rock, pretty good. And we've got a lich coming out for Fow and many ghouls because there isn't a graveyard in sight. So we're going to like a lot of ghouls. Meanwhile, it does look like Withus has gone for a pretty different build here. He's going for the graveyard and the Death Knight. So we're going to expect to see fiends. So Death Knight and fiends versus lich and ghouls. Cool. So we've got a scout going down here for Withus. He knows that his opponent is not right next to him. And he's about to find out where he really is. And Fow hasn't scouted yet by the looks of it. But he might be able to take a good guess as to where his opponent is when he sees an acolyte step into his base. Although there's no true way to know other than the fact that that acolyte is kind of late to the base by this point. So it's very unlikely that it's the base nearest him. And it's going to be a nice starting bit of experience for the lich here, who will easily be able to pick off that acolyte. A nice 25 experience there, and he'll probably be able to get a couple of skeletons from him as well. Good start to the game, I'd say, for Fow so far. Ghouls coming in here to creep this. Meanwhile, Death Knight is just hanging around, and much like he harasses other races, he's going to try to look to do the same, even versus undead. Unfortunately, he was denied here. Fow was quick enough to creep that camp before Withus could actually manage to get a death coil out on either of those creeps, trying to steal the experience, but at the very least he does steal a corpse and manages to get himself a couple of skeletons. Going to send those into Fow's base, who is just about to research a Nerubian tower, and it finishes. Going to help him out versus his skeleton harass on those acolytes. Meanwhile, the Death Knight's going to keep up the chase on Fow's lich and remaining ghouls. Meanwhile, he's going to be teching, so he's playing a very standard undead game, whereas a Fow is playing quite a different game. But I'm not sure which is the most standard in an undead mirror, because you've got to remember, this is something that undead do very typically versus human players, or orc players, or night elf players, which is to harass with the Death Knight and try to steal kills, as in like steal the creeps so he can get the experience and deny experience for his opponent, and also coil weak militia or weak archers, units like that. But you can't do that versus undead, because death coil does not work versus undead units, so he can only use it versus creeps. So it's still very useful nonetheless, but it's definitely more useful to harass this way versus an opponent that uses living creatures. Fow has picked himself up a boost of speed and a teleportation, staff of teleportation, and is going strong. This is going to be good for the lich. He's going to want those boosts of speed. The lich can be quite slow and clunky, but when he's got that boost of speed, he just floats and glides. Fow now bringing in another chunk of ghouls by the looks of it. Maybe getting ready for a proper attack here. It would be lovely to see a level 3 lich, but he's going to pick up this creep camp. I don't think he's going to reach level 3, but he's probably going to try to do an attack before Withus can build his slaughterhouse, because he's getting ready to finish off his research or his tech into tier 2, and he's going to want to start building some tier 2 buildings. But he has actually got a couple of fiends out, so he is able to defend at least with something.
A player's forces are under attack.
Only a rod of necromancy here for Withus. But Foe is a little bit stronger, and he's getting ready. He's looking out. He wants to find something to pick off. Maybe a bunch of ghouls, a nice Frost Nova. He has got 345 mana. He's got a lot of mana to spend, but it would be lovely to see this Lich. He's got to be careful. That's a good item to have, that Staff of Teleportation, for if you get yourself in a position like that. Although what I do like is that was pretty clever. Although both players have done a very good job here. Is it almost looked like they both knew what each other was thinking, because what Foe was doing there is he was trying to keep Withus back inside of his base, make the Lich drag his army all the way back to the base. That way Foe was then going to teleport back to his ghouls and start creeping right away. But Withus was kind of prepared for this. He had a couple of fiends already chasing the ghouls, so that if they were going to go off and creep, they could harass. And meanwhile, the Death Knight can catch up pretty quickly as well. And he's going to throw down a coil, denying any kills on those fiends. Although there might be another Nova in a moment, and does look like if Foe can get one more Nova off, oh, he'll get a guaranteed kill on that fiend. And that was a smart split. He had to do that. Withus had to split his fiends, otherwise he might have potentially lost both of those fiends. And more selling going on here, but no new items picked up. Withus now looking to creep, but Foe is right behind him. And yes, Withus very quickly retreating. There isn't another... oh my goodness, he might actually get another fiend kill. Yeah, if he managed to get a bit more of a block with those ghouls, he could have got a fiend kill here. We can see a sacrificial pit actually produced here for Withus. Is he going to go for Frostworms? That'll be interesting. Huh. We've got a slaughterhouse meanwhile for Foe, who's now teching up to tier 3, so we're going to probably expect destroyers, because he's got ghouls. He hasn't started producing... oh, now he's producing fiends. So I was going to say that maybe abomination fiends and statues, which is a solid ground army that can counter any air, and just is, like I say, it's exactly that, it's solid. Meanwhile, we can see Foe actually coming back here for a bit more harass, but he's not able to do much other than poke a couple of times with his Lich. Now reaching level 3 because of his creeping down here with the ghouls and the fiends. Good job here. And he's actually got access to another Frost Nova, so if he can do enough damage to a fiend, although it will be able to get coiled, he's trying to split his damage here so he can get the most here, and that means that Withus is going to be a bit more sort of tormented as to which fiend to coil to try to save it. But he has actually got himself another... well, he's got himself a Lich here now as his second hero to support, and it's a tier 3 base, so that means Orb of Corruption and a slaughterhouse at the back, so there aren't Frostworms. I was almost hoping to see Frostworms be built. Who knows, there's still time to see that. Foe sitting there with his level 3 Lich, not bad indeed. Let's see what level the Death Knight is. Level 2 and a level 1 Lich. 3 fiends. Tech almost finished for Foe. Statues coming out. Sacrificial pit produced by both players. I guess that is a standard for undead. Understandably so. It is very important to see where your opponent is at all times. And you can also use the shade just for general scouting of potential expansions. Pretty much give it the job that you don't want to have to give your units to do, because you want your units to fight in your army. You don't really want them for scouting when you can get a shade. But we haven't actually seen a shade so far for either player. At least I haven't spotted one yet. And oh no, I'm trying to look for it, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, Withus coming in here for the gank. A nice Nova there, just trying to slow down his advance and a teleport out. This means that Withus did a good job there, forcing a teleport, costing 350 gold for his opponent, and he's now going to get this creep camp for free because there's nothing that Foe can do about this. There's no way he can get back here in time to harass it or deny the creep experience. And we can see level 2 Death Knight and level 2 Lich. Oh, Potion of Greater Healing, a lovely item, and Scroll of the Beast. Oh, there's a shade. We see it now. Okay, Withus has got the first shade. That's good. Well done, Withus. We've got a level 3 Lich here. He's got a Claws of Attack +6, a nice item for Lich, but not that impressive in the late game. Ghoul looks like he wants to pick up a second hero from the tavern. Could it be a Dart Ranger? A Panda or something? Oh, Withus might be able to steal the kill here. Does look like Foe's got his second hero. It is actually a Death Knight there. Was the Ghoul just a distraction? Was it just a scout? Where's the shade? Anyway, Withus losing fiends. Oh my goodness. Wow, all of that happened. at the same time. So the Death Knight was the second hero, and that was building up, and he did actually have the gall there to get himself a third hero, which was the Dark Ranger. I see. Nice. So he's got Lich, Death Knight, and Dark Ranger. A very solid undead hero combination indeed. Meanwhile, for Withus, he's pulling back this creep camp at the top here, sitting there with the Death Knight and the Lich and just a couple of fiends, but Orb of Corruption is very beastly, and it will allow him to basically slaughter these creeps quite easily despite having a relatively small army size and force. Nice. He's keeping that alive. The Ogre Lord is annoying as usual. He often does this. He runs back at the very last moment and gets an extra shockwave in. What's the item? Ancient Django of Endurance. Not bad at all. Level 4 Lich. 2 boots of speed. Might want to pass that on. Tome of Intelligence. Another nice item there. Oh, foe coming in here from behind for a nice little gankety gank. But he's got to position himself a little bit better by the looks of it. Fiend's getting ready. A lot of focus going down on that Death Knight. Orb of Corruption doing its job. Death Knight does not actually have a Scroller Teleporter here. He actually doesn't have a Scroller Teleport. He cannot get out very easily, so he's got to start running back now. The Potion of Healing was swapped from the Lich to the Death Knight to keep him alive a little bit longer. Nice little Nova there from Withus getting the kill there. But it does look like foes managed to chase out that Death Knight, which leaves the rest of these units, which also cannot flee unless there is a Scroller Teleport for them to escape easily. But it does look like Withus is actually quite comfortable to stay in this fight, at least for the time being. He has got 4 Fiends here and a Destroyer, so he's not doing too bad. Death Knight coming back in, but getting focused very quickly there. Really good surround there. Oh, but is it enough? No! So close there, foe. So close. He might have thought he had it, so he let go. But unfortunately for him, he needed just one more hit there. That was a really good block there from the Dark Ranger, but she needed to keep it up for just a little bit longer. Scroller Teleport now being used by Withus' Lich, and he's going to retreat the rest of his units back. And the Death Knight's going to accompany them because he can support them with the Unholy Aura and get them back to base that much quicker so they can recuperate with the statues here. And he's probably going to want to pick himself up a Scroller Teleport at some point. Although he has got a decent army, so there's a good chance he shouldn't need to back off in the next fight. But it definitely felt like during that, it was just a matter of time before he was going to eventually run away. Foe. Just looking for items now. He's not even going to stand there and finish off the creep camp, despite the fact that he could do. Every second counts by the looks of it, and he's just hunting down for decent items. And these seconds do count because they're actually crucial, because if he stayed there with the creep camp, he wouldn't have been able to get up here in time to basically deny this creep camp for Withus. And he's actually in a position here to do quite a lot of damage. Those statues are at the back there getting hurt quite hard there, so Withus is going to lose a statue, maybe 2, but he's actually turning around, picking off a Fiend in return as some sort of revenge. But another statue going down there. Foe now about to lose a statue. A lot of Fiend focus on that. Statues going down left, right and centre. Lich now using Invulnerability Pot. Does look like Withus is actually having to consistently run back with that Death Knight. Cannot keep it nearby, because it just gets focused the second it's there. Foe running his Lich around, using the Staff of Teleportation, and he's back into the game. And a Lich being picked off there. Withus losing his Lich. Foe did manage to pick that off before the Death Knight could come in there and get the coil to save him. And Fiend's just forced to burrow here, but not a great... Yeah, he doesn't have much of a choice, because he's going to get picked off either with Dust of Appearance or with Shades from those sacrificial pits. But I don't see where they are. They've gone again. They disappeared. Dust of Appearance going down, denying creeps, but there you go. Fiend's going down. Now level 4 for this Lich of Withus's, and a level 4 Death Knight. Foe with a level 2 Death Knight, level 4 Lich, and Dark Ranger at level 2. Kind of lowish levels at the moment. Foe taking quite a lot of damage on his Lich. Now the Destroyer is being focused pretty heavily here. Does look like Foe's going for the Fiend in return. Does look like the Destroyer can also take quite a bit of punishment there, and a coil can support him. He's going to have to get another... Oh, but all the time whilst this Destroyer is being focused, the Lich is getting hurt. Now the Death Knight is being focused. A lot of split attacks going on here. A lot of mind games. Death Knight now taking up the invulnerability pot to give him just a little bit more juice, but you can see that Foe is really chasing him down. He doesn't care about any other units. He's just focusing on that Death Knight. The moment that invulnerability pot runs out, he gets the Nova, forces a TP, and the Destroyer, very close there by Foe, almost managed to save it, but not quite. It came in there once again just to get picked off. So that was a little unfortunate, otherwise he could have kept that, but there you go. Now Foe in a position to keep creeping, keep building up his heroes, and it does look like Withus isn't going to stand still either. Very good. He could have stood still in his base and recuperated, but no, he's getting in here, he's getting ready to soak up more experience, potential decent items. A good item for that Death Knight, Perceptive Vitality, boosts him up to 900 health now. He's going to need it because you can see the amount of focus he takes throughout these battles that the two players are having. More statues coming out, fiends continuing. Can I spot a shade? Yes, I can. There's a shade for Foe chasing Withus's army, but where's the Death Knight? Is he just hunting around? Is he going back for items? He's gone back for a scroller teleport. Finally, the Death Knight has a scroller teleport, and we can see Destroyers just trying to do something, but not enough, really. That's quite indescriptive, but hey, what else can you say? Foe running around just looking for any more creeps to creep. That's what he's going to do. Pull him back, try to get to a safe position in case he gets creep jacked, which is about to happen right about now. Destroyer's coming over the trees, going heavily on that statue. Foe's probably going to have to convert that if he wants to save it, which he does, but he wants to also get back. Looks like his Death Knight's taking in a Frost Nova, and he's going to get into a lot of trouble here. He's actually come back here and aggroed this creep camp, which could possibly work in his favour, because now they're going to block off the position between both these players and actually divide them. I like that, but at the same time it does give Withus the chance to get that experience for free and pick up a Warsong battle drum. So Withus is coming back in here. Foe still strong though, and the Lich is pissed. He's coming in there, he's throwing down a Frost Nova, trying to pick off the... Oh, almost getting the Fiend at the back, but not quite. Coil does deny that kill. Another Fiend being focused here. Meanwhile, Destroyers being webbed down here. Oh my goodness, Fiend's getting focused. Death Knight now running back for Withus. Withus throwing down another Frost Nova. So both Death Knights are taking quite a chunk of damage. Meanwhile, if you can't go through the Death Knight, it looks like players are going for each other's Fiends. That seems to be the theme of the day. And Withus, using that Scroller Teleport that he bought, retreating from this fight. It does look like he unfortunately didn't come out too well. He did pick up a good item though and got the experience of that Ogre Lord. So that wasn't terrible. That wasn't a terrible encounter. That was a good creep jack, and it resulted in a potentially good item here. Meanwhile, Foe just creeping around, looking for more to kill. I feel like I've got a deja vu here. I really got a strong sensation of deja vu. Unfortunately for Foe, slight mishap there. He lost his Destroyer, probably because he was distracted by what's going on inside of his base. It looks like Withus is coming in here, and he's actually in a strong position here to pick off a couple of Acolytes, but the Lich has actually used Staff of Teleport just to get back, to try to throw down some sort of threat towards his opponent that is sitting inside of his base, and it's kind of working. He's actually consistently sticking on that Death Knight when possible, but the Death Knight does still have a Scroller Teleport. He bought another one. He's a smart Death Knight indeed. And it does look like Withus is managing just about to sneak out of this base, doing a little bit of harass there. But Foe did clear this creep camp, so that's more experience and items that he picked up for his heroes. Robe of the Magi +6, which is probably going to be passed over to the Death Knight when Foe can next remember. You got to remember that both these players are really playing their hearts out. Their APM is through the charts, so there's a lot going on that I'm not even covering, such as the researchers at the back of the base. You can see Banshees, researches for the Fiends. We've got 2-0 at the moment for Foe. Meanwhile, it looks like Withus has got 2-0 as well. So both players have a relatively strong unit sort of research count. And no decent item for Foe here, but he knows that because he already picked off the creep camp earlier. And he looks like he's starting to get himself a little bit of an army of Dark Minions, but this might not be too good because these Dark Minions are kind of counterproductive, because Withus could just absorb or devour the magic that they contain and destroy them and boost up his Destroyers, heal them up, give them some more mana, and allow them to do some more splash damage. just getting desperate here for any creeps left on the map.
Under attack.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the creeps. They're all gone. It is literally just player versus player now. They've got everything they can from these creeps. So let's assess the situation. Okay. For Withus, we've got a level 5 Death Knight and a level 5 Lich. The Death Knight is sporting himself. Oh, look at those. That's going to be free experience. Not too good. But anyway, the Death Knight has got himself a Scroller Teleport, Invulnerability Pot, Ancient Django of Endurance, Warsong Battle Drums. We've got the Lich here with the Gloves of Haste, Perepta Vitalities. That was actually swapped over to the Lich. Invulnerability Pot. Banshee's being picked off here. Very unfortunate for Withus there. He's got Ring of Protection +2, Orb of Corruption. Looks like both players are coming in at it. Fiends are getting heavily focused, but at the same time, so is the Death Knight. You can see that the Lich is very focused on that, throwing down the Orb of Corruption whenever possible, and Novas whenever that Death Knight is in nearby. Oh my goodness. Foe still got that Robe of Magi, hasn't passed it over yet. The Lich is sporting quite a lot of items. +6 attack could be definitely swapped over. Not that impressive at this point in the game. Destroyers being webbed, Ghouls being picked off, Fiends being picked off. Death Knight almost definitely going to get focused again if he got even closer. Destroyer's in a bad spot here. Withus managing to save his Destroyers though with the coil there and continuing to defend his base and pushing back Foe. So Foe's now on the retreat path here. He's got a level 4 Death Knight, level 5 Lich and a level 4 Dark Ranger. So this is triple hero. Moderately well leveled. So he's still not doing bad. Hero wise, he's more powerful overall. But Withus isn't out of the game yet. He's still got a decent amount of Destroyers, statues. He's even got Banshees at the back. The Lich is getting his mana back. He's almost going to be level 6 at this rate. Quicker than Foe's Lich, which was his first hero. Ah, but Foe does have an expansion. And this is critical at this point in the game because Foe, who is actually, I forgot to mention, I think his name is Samdan or something like that. But of course, feel free to correct me because I'm always willing to learn. But I think it's Samdan. I'm pretty sure I remember someone saying that's what it is. Although I don't know where that's from. Is that just his real life name or is that another nickname from Warcraft 3? Either way, I like to refer to him as Foe. Both the players in the middle here going for one last potential battle. Destroyers being webbed. Fiends are benefiting nicely from the Banshees. Spirit Link, not Spirit Link, sorry. I can't even think of the name. You know what it is, Anti-Magic Shield. There we go. We got to it. Fiends in a slightly clumped up position. Good cannon fodder there for the Frost Novas. But no, the Frost Novas are going to be used on the Death Knight. Consistent punishment for Foe's Death Knight. Actually, Foe's in a lot of trouble here. He's consistently running back here. Fiends being picked off. Withus actually throwing down a lot of pain here on Foe. Can Foe stay long enough? Oh well, Withus knows about it. His Shade has sniffed it out. And he's coming over here with his own Shade, his own Acolytes, getting ready to take the expansion for himself. He's actually kind of powerful, but Foe has got to make the most of that resources that he got here. Potentially pick up an item or two, maybe from the Goblin Merchant, and then finish off. But it does look like he's coming in straight here. He wants to do whatever he can. He's going heavily on the statues here. Orb of Corruption doing a great job reducing them, the armor. Oh no. Bunch of Fiends bunched up here. Frost Nova going down. Fiend being picked off. A web going down on Withus's. But oh, Banshee coming in here. Getting ready to throw down some anti-magic shields. Keep those Fiends alive a little bit longer. Foe desperately trying to defend his expansion here. More statues coming in here. The Death Knight very quickly about to go down. There it is. Oh my goodness. Withus is actually going to take this away from Foe. Foe was so close to being able to sit there in the game with that expansion and take the win. But unfortunately, that little scuffle in the middle of the map really sealed the deal there. And Withus was able to go ahead and take the win. Lovely job by both players. I really didn't know which way that was going to go. In fact, in all honesty, I thought Foe had that until that fight in the middle at the very end. And then it was like, oh, actually, he really does have pretty much nothing left other than his heroes. And that Dark Ranger, unfortunately, was not really able to produce much of anything. I'd say, I mean, she's there for the silence, but you can't use Dark Rangers because that's counterproductive because of the Destroyers. So she was a bit of a non-entity. So unfortunately, it seems that the dual hero was far more effective here than the triple hero, because the Dark Ranger just wasn't that useful in this game. Maybe in other games she could be more useful in Undead Mirrors, but not so much in this game, as we could see. Alright, well, if you enjoyed this, feel free to thumbs up the video and like it. And if you want to see more, you can subscribe.